Welcome everybody to the Latin News Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for Dumb Money, the newest true story film here, of course, about recent events. This is a story focusing on events that are occurring right in the middle of COVID. So very, very recent, from 2020 to the beginning of 2021. We had this low-end investor, the name was Keith Gill, who had like a YouTube personality. Roaring Kitty was his name on YouTube and Twitter and whatever the case is. But he led this surge of these kind of nobody, non-Wall Street individuals to kind of pump all this money into the GameStop stock, causing it to soar from $3, where I think Mr. Gill had bought it, all the way to close to $400, and that caused a lot of issues, particularly for these hedge fund investors, those with the means. So this became a battle of the haves versus the have-nots. And this has a great cast here. We got Seth Rogen's in this one. We got Paul Dano playing Keith Gill. Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio, Nick Offerman's in here as well. Sebastian Stan, of course, those who are familiar with Marvel, he is the Winter Soldier. And of course, the story focusing on Paul Dano's character, who plays Keith Gill, because that investor who kind of led that surge, right? He kept talking about he believed in GameStop in itself, and he had grew this following, and through other means via the websites and through Reddits, and people kind of created this resurgence of how these people invest and kind of turn Wall Street upside down, and causing a lot of these hedge funds companies to lose billions of dollars. So much so that this eventually, some shenanigans done by because Robinhood, who was one of the stock apps that you can buy and sell stock in all the time, and they had was alleged in cahoots with some of the hedge fund managers. And they were forcing the stock price down, which of course illegal, and the SEC got involved. Of course, Congress had an investigation and so forth. A very fascinating story. I'm not surprised they made it into a film. I'm just surprised they did it this quickly, because maybe the story is barely 2 years old for the most part. And listen, this is a very enjoyable film. I really like this movie. Very well paced, good performances, and they focus more on the characters, because this can be dry, and they just gave you the broad strokes. So they didn't spend too much time going into the minutia about having to what it means to buy the stock and sell short and et cetera. Kind of give you the broad strokes, give an idea what was going on, enough to get you invested and understand the very basics of what happened, how the stock went from so little to so much, and it caused such a ruckus. This is unprecedented as far as what occurred, which gained so much national attention. And in COVID, everybody at home watching TV and the news, this was the story at that time. A lot of people made a lot of money there, and good for them. So yeah, it's a very fascinating story, but it's all about how it's told, right? Took this dry material, particularly if you're not into stocks and what's going on with that, that's fine. You don't have to know anything about that to really get a good understanding, get behind the people, particularly Dano's character. And he wasn't really trying to stick it to this hedge funds company. He just believed in GameStop. It's not like GameStop too. I used to work there many years ago, had a great time, and I spent most of the time ignoring the customers and playing games, because fuck it, it's GameStop. What else am I going to do, right? But they really did a good job of pitting, his, I guess, motivations behind trying to get the stock up, and all those other people. They focused on a couple of characters, who were in there, who invested and believed in Daniel, what he was doing, and it just became, it grew so big, it grew bigger than himself, and there's people behind this movement, right, to stick it to the man, stick it to those the 1%ers out there who've been stealing and taking advantage of those without means for God knows how long. So there's a kind of, you really stand behind what they're doing, believe in what they're doing. They did a good job of that. Again, it's very enjoyable, very well done, and the pacing is what really gets this movie going. It just breakneck editing, a lot of great music, so everything really fit together really well. And it's a very entertaining time. Pete Davidson in this, playing Keith Gill's brother. I'm not a huge fan of Davidson, but he was actually good in this movie. He has some really good funny lines, and this is what the movie did. It kept that levity going consistently without going too far, making it a farce. And I really enjoyed it. Everything really came together. It's a really, really good movie. One of my favorites this year. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's one I'm highly recommend you guys watch. It probably won't get a lot of views out there in the theaters, because I get it's not that kind of film. But if you get a chance to see it, I definitely recommend it. Check it out at home, VOD, eventually when it comes out. It's a very entertaining film about a very, very interesting story that I think a lot of people can get behind, because again, the haves or the haves not, who can get behind that kind of story and get invested in that kind of story. So that being said, Dumb Money, should you watch it? Absolutely. If you do, comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.